Good afternoon. This is KHEA Radio. It's just after 1 o'clock. I'm excited. We're going to be talking about Fury Fighting Championship. Fury 46 is coming up this Sunday, the 16th, at Bayou City Event Center. It's pretty much sold out. I think after weigh-ins, and I believe those are happening on Saturday, then they're going to release a little bit of tickets. We're going to find all that out. I'm going to kick this on the FM. Here we go.
With me.
Good morning. This is KHEA Radio. It's not the morning. I'm usually on in the morning. It's 1 o'clock. It's afternoon, but I'm excited. I got Richard Burnmaster with Fury Fighting Championship. He's going to be talking to me and sharing about an event going on. Hey, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. How you doing today?
I'm very good. I'm excited. I'm excited to have you on. Can you kind of let me know what's happening, what's taking place Sunday? How can people watch it?
Yeah, man. Fury Fighting Championships number 46 goes down this weekend. It's our biggest show of the year. So this is obviously our 46th show going off of the numbers. But we got some special guests coming out there this week. So we're on UFC Fight Pass. So we're actually streamed in 85 countries. I don't know how many millions of people are actually watching the event on Sunday. But special guests. So UFC 262 is here this weekend. And Dana White, president of the UFC, will actually be at our show filming his Looking for a Fight series, looking for the next UFC superstar.
How many people tried to get on this card so that way they have that opportunity? This is a really big deal.
Yeah, Eric Garcia is the president of Fury Fighting Championships, and him and I share the matchmaking duties for the events. So, the number of people who reached out after finding out that it was a Dana White was coming to the show is unreal. Like, I literally turned my emails to my phone off at one point because everybody wants to perform in front of what they hope to be their future boss.
Yeah, and I mean, is it a guarantee? It's just an opportunity to fight in front of Dana White, but I mean, is there any promise he's going to sign at least one person? Do we know?
100%. Yeah. So generally when Dana does a show, they vet it out pretty hard beforehand. So we had to send bios in, highlights of all the people who are on the main card. And they're very aware of it. We're also very lucky that one of the UFC, the vice presidents of talent, Mick Maynard, actually lives here in Houston and used to run Legacy Fighting Championships. I worked with him for about 10 years over there. And Mick comes to all of our shows, so he sees the talent. He knows the talent ahead of time. But this time we've got Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, all the guys from Fight Pass, all the UFC staff will be at the event, and somebody, maybe more than one person, is going to walk away with the chance to be on Dana White's Contender Series or straight to the UFC.
Wow, and there's people that are fighting on the Fury Fighting cards that are from all over the world. It's not just Houston talent. It's all over the country from everywhere, right?
Right. One of our title shots, Nikolai Veretennikov, is actually from Dagestan. We've got Leomano Martinez. He's actually from Houston. I don't know why I even brought his name up next. But we do have guys from all different parts of the world, different parts of the country as well.
Awesome. Is there a fight that you're looking forward to the most from the prelims all the way to the main card?
Ooh.
It's stacked.
Man, it's really hard for me to pick. There's so many storylines tied involved with this. You got Colton England coming back from cancer and leukemia to fight. You got Alex Black, who's been retired for 5 years and actually fought the first time Dana was here and looking for a fight. Alex won on that card. Thought he was going to get the shot. He had a late notice and he didn't take it. Retired for 5 years, comes back and he's on the show. Jacob Silva, who's been knocking people out left and right. And I mean, Josh Alton, who's just a phenom, taking on an undefeated prospect. And then that doesn't even count our 3 title fights. We got Juan Adams, who fought in the UFC on the undercard. It's unreal. If I had to pick one fight out of all of them, the Theo Reiling and Josh Alton fight is going to be an unbelievable banger. And one of those two guys are going to make big waves in the UFC.
Yeah, I saw Theo. He's undefeated. I emailed with him a little bit. I was trying to get something set up, and I've interviewed Josh before. He's from Texas City. We're in Lamarck, and I've been able to cover him, but he's a great talent. And Theo, from what I've seen, he's undefeated, as a pro. That's difficult. So it's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, both of those guys are considered two of the top prospects at featherweight in the nation. And I would be surprised if neither of them went straight to the UFC. The only thing holding them back at this point is honestly a title shot, but the 145 title is being defended on this card as well. So there's no telling. The top 4 fights definitely have a big chance of going straight.
So last year was interesting for a lot of businesses and, combat sports. What's it been like from 2020 to 2021, and how did y'all fare through that?
Absolute nightmare. So, we're a live venue. We're an event where you got to come out and see it. And we couldn't have crowds. So we actually shut down Fury Fighting Championships for most of 2020. We didn't come back until December with a show. And with the COVID restrictions and things that are in place now, I'll be honest, man, it's really hard to put on a show. You have to quarantine fighters. Everyone has to be COVID tested. Your staff has to be COVID tested. Ring girls have to be COVID tested. They got to stay in a certain hotel. We have to shuttle them to the hotel. They can't go outside of the bubble. We have our own bubble, basically, for these events. And that is all a tribute to Eric Garcia, man. Eric wanted to come back and put these shows on, and he was determined, no matter the cost, he was going to put shows on, be the first one back in Texas, and we were first ones back in Texas, first ones back in Houston. The shows are selling out, going crazy. It's been awesome. We did continue our Submission Hunter series throughout, as it's not regulated by the state and has to go through some of the same protocols. We had our own protocols, but it's awesome, man, to get back to Fury.
What are some of the things you've been hearing from fighters, what it means to them to be able to have this opportunity to perform and go and I mean, a lot of them, I mean, they had to continue training, but what have you been hearing from them?
Yeah. Man, you know, it's like as if you went to someone who lost their job and gave them a job back. Like this is realistic for a lot of these guys. They are professional fighters. This is how they make their money. This is their career. So we've given them a platform to perform. And now with us signing our UFC Fight Pass deal, we are able to showcase them in a way that very few promotions can. There are, you know, a multitude of promotions on UFC Fight Pass, but I mean, let's be honest, there is a difference in quality amongst all of them. And we put people into the UFC.
Yeah. How many people does it take to make a Fury Fighting Championship, you know, Fury 46 to make it come? Because there's production, there's a lot that goes into it, right?
Yeah. And again, we have a very small crew. And this goes back to Eric Garcia has put into place policies and procedures, and he has his family. This is a family thing, man. His dad's out there with him, setting up the cage, tearing it down. He does all the production. So this is rarity that you can find the guy who owns everything down there, wiring and lights. Yeah. You know, we don't have a massive staff, but we're all very close, and everyone has worked together for a while now, and it's a passion for all of us.
So this is Fury 46. It's the 46th event that's going on, and I'm going to say, is this the biggest, and where do you see it going for the rest of 2021?
Yeah, you know, this is the biggest. Fury 45, we had the best fight we've ever had, maybe in Houston. Jacob Silva took on CJ Vergara for the flyweight title, and it was an intense battle back and forth, and that kind of set the bar for this show. So everyone is aiming to put on now the best fight that we've seen. This is hands down the most talent-packed card that we have had. And, you know, honestly, we're looking at filling out our Fight Pass deal for the rest of this year. And then I think you'll hear us announcing a multi-year deal with UFC.
All right, that's awesome. So I immediately signed after whenever the last event came on Sundays. It's always hard for me to get out and go anywhere on a Sunday, but I immediately signed up for UFC Fight Pass. If somebody wants to do that, what's the best way for them to do it?
Yeah, you know, just go online to UFC Fight Pass. I think it's UFCFightPass.com. You can also, if you go to any of our social media where you see Fury Fighting Championships, we tag them in all of our stuff. So you can just click on that link. It'll take you right to their website or to their Instagram page. Sign up, man. It's the best money you will spend. It's action-packed. Tons of different fights are on there. The library of fights they have is amazing. All the talent in the world is on UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah, I went ahead and signed up for the year because I was like, well, if they're streaming the next fight, you know, if there's another one next month, I mean, might as well, right? You save a little bit of money and it's going to be there. So it's really
Definitely.
Cool. And it's very convenient. But can you kind of let me know on the ticket situation? You said there might be some tickets, and if there are, where would they be released?
Man, there will be a handful of tickets that come back at weigh-ins. Weigh-ins are this Saturday, and we generally have no more than, let's say, 20 to 25 tickets. I'd be shocked if we even have those. At this moment, if you go online, there's maybe under 10 tickets floating around out there that you can purchase. So Saturday, we may have a few. You can go to furyfc.tv. Again, that's furyfc.tv, or you can go to garciapromotions.com, pick your favorite fighter, and get your tickets, man. Don't wait up.
All right, so that's at the Bayou City Event Center. There's going to be a couple tickets out there. Dana White's going to be in the building. There's some other pros and UFC and people that make it happen. So there's going to be some guys that go up to the next level. I'm excited to be able to watch, and that this event's in Houston. I know in the past, Fury's been putting on events, and Submission Hunter does. Y'all travel. Is there any plans for that, to have some more Fury events in other states?
Yeah, we are going to go back to, you know, we are Texas centric. Like we want to be H-Town, Dallas, San Antonio, Corpus Christi. That's who we really want to support first. So we will do the bulk of our shows here. We've got plans to go back to Oklahoma, Louisiana, and maybe like Florida and Denver. Those are the really the main states that we focus on. But Texas is our home. Texas is where we are. You'll probably see 8 to 10 events a year just in Texas.
All right. So what's a bit of your background? How did you get involved in all this?
Man, I'm a janitor. So yeah, so I own my own MMA gym here in Richmond, Texas, Strong Style MMA. We are part of the War Training Facility affiliate. Outwork everybody, baby. And that is the Guerrilla Mob. And so we have our own facility. And years ago, I was a terrible person at trying to fight, became a good coach early on, been doing this pretty much my entire life. And I lucked out. I started a website with a buddy of mine, Barry Laminette, called thecagedor.net. And through the Cage Door, it gave a chance for me, the guys I was training with, no one was talking about Houston MMA. There was a few guys that had come out. Mike Swick had come out at that time. That was really honestly kind of it. KJ Noons had a tie coming back from Clements High School, but no one was talking about all these amazing fighters. And I was training at Militich Fighting Systems at this time here in Houston. And we had a bunch of fights coming up, all these awesome guys, and we wanted to get them some love. And I reached out to my friend. I'm like, hey, man, you're like an internet wizard. Can you build a website? And he told me no. He's like, I don't want to help you. I don't want to be a part of this. I said, okay. I called him back like 24 hours with the name. I'm like, dude, thecagedor.com. Come on. He was like, I love it. Let's do this. Someone had thecagedor.com, so we got .net. And after about a year of doing that, we covered the very first legacy. We covered Lone Star Beatdowns. And Mick Maynard, I just became friends with hanging out and talking with Mick and Andrea. And he asked me if I could help him with some social media stuff at one point. And that led from social media stuff to I became the guy for the comp tickets. So I became the guy checking in media, getting the media out. And next thing I know, I'm the media director for the largest MMA promotion in the nation outside of the UFC and Bellator for the next decade. And until they merged with LFA, I spent about a year with them. And, honestly, with Mick and Andrea out of the picture at that point, it just wasn't the same. That was my family that was gone. I spent about a year not doing anything MMA related outside of teaching my students and having my fighters go out and compete. And Eric Garcia and I have always been friends, and I've kind of consulted with him a little bit over the years. Hey, man, maybe you guys should do this or maybe you guys should do that. And he offered me a position to come on board. He's like, I need a janitor. I need someone who is able to get in here and mop these floors and make it happen. And I said, dude, I've already got the bald head. Got me some Windex. And so I clean up at the shows and I make sure he has fresh Cokes and Topo Chicos ready to go. And that's it, man. That's just how it's been. And so this has been now 20 something years of my life. It's been committed to MMA.
Wow. That's a really cool story. The one thing, okay, so something that stuck out to me, and you said you're part of the, War Training Center and an affiliate.
Yeah.
Whenever you posted on Facebook earlier, who's the best, I think it was 155-pound lightweight amateur, and in my head I was like, It's probably someone out of War if I had to guess.
It is, and that's a fine balance I have to walk as well. Being a matchmaker with Fury, if I could honestly load up a card with probably 3 gyms in Houston. If you just added Metro and War Training Center and ACS, you could literally do cards every month with just those gyms.
Yeah.
And have action-packed cards. But anyway, I would be very, very biased in that regards. And, and to a degree, I do think I'm part of the best affiliation, War Training Center and Guerrilla Mob. But yeah, the best 155er, there's probably a good 155er out of War. But I'm looking to see who else is out there, to see who we can bring in.
Yeah, so Drew Ratajczak over here at ACS, they're literally, I could go and walk to their gym. It's super close to where I'm at, right? And I saw that Drew had commented on there and said, Boomer, Arlton Ardrey was supposed to be on that last fight, but the guy he was fighting, I think there was some difficulties and stuff. So, but there's a lot of talent out there. And here, Diego Reyes, who's an officer and big in the MMA community, I love everything that he does. He said Alan Jacobs is another potential great fighter from ACS.
There you go.
He's a big guy, and I've rolled with him before, and he was like, I weigh 185. I was like, oh my gosh, that's like 185 solid muscle, right?
Yeah, if you were out in that area, Drew Ratajczak is an amazing, amazing coach. Such a small world. Drew and I trained together at Military Fighting Systems back in like '07, '08 when he was still an active fighter. Going out there, shout out to Drew, I think the last Lone Star beatdown heavyweight champion that we had. Amazing guy, amazing team, and yeah, man, there's so much talent out here in just Texas, man. It's unbelievable.
Yes, and so here's another guy I want to give a shout out. It's Kyle Toadrank, who I've had the opportunity to interview before, and Kyle Toadrank, he made his amateur debut and had a great showing.
Cutthroat, man. Yeah, he is awesome. Solid wrestling background. Shout out to him and his partner. Again, that's another war training affiliate right there. Mr. Toadrank, awesome wrestler, great debut. Came out and showed that he was great to strike. Went for the takedown there. Wonderful job of getting that rear naked choke. And also big shout out to his training partner, James Ford. Heavyweight coming out with the big slam, big Greco background. So it was awesome to see these guys come out and debut. And once again, we've all said it from day one, and I believe within my heart, wrestling is the best base to come into MMA with.
I was about to ask that. It seems like even from the UFC down, if you have that, that seems like it's a great start, and they're at the highest level.
Man, you can teach someone of almost any age to hold their hands up and throw punches and throw combinations. It's really hard to teach someone after a certain point, not just basic wrestling penetration steps and whatnot, but just the grind and just dealing with it and being okay with what you go through. The lessons I learned on a wrestling mat as a young kid helped me my entire life.
Can you remind everybody what's going on this Sunday? How can they watch it? And how can they keep following in the future?
Yeah, once again, Fury Fighting Championships number 46 goes down this Sunday. You can turn into UFC Fight Pass. You can also check out the prelims on our Facebook page. You go to furyfc.tv if you want to purchase some last-minute tickets. Fury Fighting Championships is on Facebook, Instagram, all the social media platforms. Dana White will be out in the house looking for the next big Houston fighter. We got 3 big title fights. 13, I think it's 13 or 14 fights on the night. It's going to be an amazing card. And thank you, H-Town. We are ready to get back to it. Thank you for coming out. We can't wait to see everybody.
Richard, thank you so much for making some time today. I know you have a lot going on and the big shows this weekend, so I appreciate you.
And thank you so much. Thanks for all you're doing for getting the word out about our promotion and fighters in general out here. Man, it's so cool to see someone back in pushing MMA, pushing jiu-jitsu and combat sports. Thank you.
Thank you. Seriously, anything I can do, always let me know and I'll help.
You got it, bro. Thank you so much, man.
This is KHEA Radio.